We're back.
We're back, right? Episode 3. Episode 3. How you
We're really
feeling so
doing
far?
this.
We're really doing it.
Okay.
How's it feeling so far?
It's good. So far, so good. So far, so good.
Okay. That's it, right? Okay, let's not show ourselves.
Okay.
So, why do you think people will not be able to follow this formula? Why do people chop? Why do people get breakfast? Why do people share breakfast?
So I think at the early step pointing to some of those things, right? Let me use my formula, right? Do I even remember all the things I said? I said good people. So if I use that, number one, good people, right? Sometimes people are, and there is no perfect person. Like I said, everybody's a work in progress. But your work in progress might have gotten you to here, and you're in someone whose work in progress is still has them at here, right? They are still dealing with themselves. They're still dealing with past trauma, demons, and all of that. So they're not yet good, right? Okay, by good now, what I said, they're not yet good. I don't mean that they are evil, but this is not a case of good people. So that's one reason why I'll say that's already a problem, right? Imagine a guy that is already not thinking like that, dating a girl. She will collect breakfast, right? This can be someone who, with his mouth, is just giving you audio talk. No, I'm a faithful, I believe, but somewhere in them, they still don't think you will chop breakfast now. Do you understand? So the second one, I said context, right? And this is something that a lot of people would have heard. I'm going for masters. we are not dating. We're still dating. We're not married. I'm going for masters. In fact, and I've heard a lot of our parents say things like this. Even if you are married, right? In two situations, you are married and one partner wants to go for masters. They either not want the person to go, or they will already start hinting at, because of how things were, maybe during their own time, where they had a lot of people that maybe one of the spouses traveled and in trying to get papers or something just didn't come back for years and left the other person hanging. So context is another reason why some people might chop breakfast, right? Context in the sense of how things play out in real time,
Physically, logistics and stuff.
yes, versus when they are both in and I don't know if I'll qualify this as breakfast, because I know breakfast is synonymous with heartbreak. Well, it's still heartbreak because you still cry now. The other part, imagine us dating and we're doing all the things we're doing, and then you now say that you want to go to, before we got married, you now say before you marry you want to go and do USMLE. USMLE that normally takes how many years, right? And you had an opportunity to travel and wanted to do USMLE, right? Someone like me, I would have already calculated I would break off that relationship. So I would have, do you understand? Or imagine that, let's say you traveled and you decided to stay back without coming back, and you don't know how. So all those type of context things are another reason, I think. The third level that I gave was alignment. So let's say both of them are both good people. They have same context, but alignment in how they approach things. A very popular one is tribe, right? One person can be from one tribe where they do things a certain way and the person doesn't really believe, the other person doesn't really believe. And these are, I'm a good person, he's a good person, but I just don't think this is how to approach this. And me too, I just don't think this is how I want to approach this. Something will happen, right? And what was the fourth one I gave? Why can't I even remember what I said? You're better remembering. What did I say?
Was it 4 things you said? It was just 3, I remember that.
It was just 3. I'm sure I'll remember it sometime, right? So I'm just thinking about it when you hear of different breakfast stories. Some you hear, and me, I'm here for my girl, so I'm going to be straight bullet is going to be going to your gender, because you people are the cookers. Yeah.
Let it rip.
Right. Scum has no gender, but now they cook. Right? Things like you're dating someone and what you really want to do is just have fun. Whereas this is someone that is looking to really settle down. She's ready to get married, and you're looking to have fun, and she starts giving you signs of let's go, and because of that, you now issue her breakfast, American style, served with waffles, and like, so there's that. There's no alignment and things like that. And the reason, again, like I said, that kind of person, in another 3 years or so, he will now be ready, and he will meet another good girl, and they will get married, and they'll have a good, like, I know people, when you are hurt, really might wish the worst on the person who brought you that hurt. But sometimes people, maybe because of the context, maybe because of the level, you can't swear for the person. He will have a good marriage. I'm sorry, the person will just have a good marriage. But at that particular point in time, he would have been severely heartbroken, severely so, right? So those are examples that come into mind. And then there are people who are genuinely just wicked people who just want to play around with other people's hearts. Again, your gender, right? So you have them, Fumi, Joma, it cannot be me. It can never be me. It's too late anyway. You have different girls. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't get it. And that's your idea of having fun. And then you're toying with some other people's hearts. Again, I don't want to say I don't necessarily, do I believe in karma? That's not what we're talking about. People like that might end up, after some years, they'll outgrow it, they'll get better, but at that particular point in time, you would have served breakfast to multiple ladies, right? And things like that. And the same thing, you as a lady are thinking a certain way about the relationship, and the guy is thinking another way, and maybe already falling for him or something like that. He will serve you breakfast and you will take it with your chest. So I'm sure I'll think of other examples as we go. So why do you think things don't work out for people?
Okay, so I think I don't think there's any legitimate reason why someone should be having breakfast if they follow the rules. I know that my own is different. You are more compassionate, and you are always devil's advocate, and usually
I will soon shoot you some different scenario now. You answer me.
Yeah, wait now. To me, the only legitimate thing that can make a person not find a good marriage, despite following what I said about that hierarchy of values, is if the person's pursuit of purpose materially contradicts the other person's own. Just like you said, that's the only one that's legitimate. Like, for example, so person has a good personality and interest, and the other material reasons are good. Follow the hierarchy and make a good decision. But the person's pursuit of purpose is fundamentally contradictory. That's the only thing that I believe that can cause legitimate breakup for people.
Tribalism. In that case, what of tribal? Okay, no, answer first. In that case, hold on.
So in that case, it doesn't even qualify as real heartbreak. It just shows as irreconcilable differences, so to speak. It's still a heartbreak. It's still a heartbreak.
Imagine if I did it for you now.
I've heard. In that case, it's still a heartbreak, but that is one real situation that you can perceive as and say, okay, right, this thing happened. Apart from that, if you follow that hierarchy, you will not have issues.
Okay, so I was
you will not have issues. For example, one thing that people do is that they pretend that the top hierarchy is what they were really looking at. Meanwhile, we know deep down inside there that the major thing on their mind was the girl's bumble. That's the real thing that was on your mind. And I'm praying now, because the girl is a good girl. It's not because the girl is a good girl. It's not because
I like her heart.
I like her personality.
I like her.
We know what to mean by personality, right? We know what to mean by personality, right? So a lot of people actually pretend that. But if you genuinely actually love a person first because of the higher values of love, faith, and hope, and all that, you're not really. I don't think you're ever going to have breakfast.
Okay, so let's go to my
second example. Talking about the two of them having it, not just one person having it for another person.
Yeah. So my example, tribalism. Let's use
tribalism.
Yes.
Very good example.
Nigeria, for example.
Very good example.
If
you follow my system, it's sure for me. Tribalism cannot hook you. Do you know why?
Why?
If you marry someone,
and this is family's external pressure coming on you.
If you marry someone based on love, faith, and hope, the person loves you. The person believes in you. And
not married. So you enter a relationship with someone.
Yes.
But when it comes to marriage, both families are not in support of it.
That if you check for love, faith, and hope, you're going to always have that. You will have taken care of that from the beginning. It means that if you marry someone that really has love, faith, and hope for you, what it means is that the person the person loves you, the person believes in you and is committed to you, and the person has a hope, long-term hope for the future and all that. The person has made that decision irrespective of what their parents say. So if that person actually has it and you have it, tribalism is ready. The person's family is
So you're saying the person was already ready to fight for you
exactly.
from the
They
beginning.
made that decision based on, even before the family say anything, the mind has been made up. The family can go and say whatever they want to say. It's both of you. It's ride or die. You and the person against the world. The truth is that you don't even need your parents' consent for marriage. That's the truth. You don't.
Pastor.
You don't need it. It's a very good thing to have, but you don't need it. If your parents were not alive, uncle.
Have your family.
Yes, you don't need it
family.
for marriage, but it's a good thing to have. It's a very good thing to have. As much as possible, you should try and get your parents' consent and all that. But if it's on you want to marry someone, that's because she's an Igbo girl. That's why you should not marry, and they will stop you. Daddy will be praying for your salvation. Please, let's go to the courts. If you follow that, it's foolproof. Think of another thing.
Let me think, and I want to use real life situations. I'm sure it will come up.
So let me ask you.
Yes, I can think of another one.
Okay.
Which, funny enough, is riding to, I don't know if it's the next question or the question after that.
Okay.
Do people change?
Yes, that's what I was about to say. That's what I was asking.
So when people change, Unko.
Right, so this is the thing. Oh my God, I'm hating that I have to recount. Okay, wait. So this is what I'm going to say, right? If you follow that hierarchy of values, just like I said, if the top ones are the core, because those ones are a matter of the state of your heart, your outlook and perspective, the chances that they will change are very unlikely. It's not impossible. So maybe that should be my second caveat. God, I said I will not have any buts. Okay. So that's the only second but.
Okay.
The likelihood that the person that truly loves, like 1 Corinthians chapter 13 love, a person truly has faith in you and in God, right? And the person truly has a hope for what you guys have, a hope that never dies. The chances that a person will change and lose all those three things, because those three things actually have they have a mutually reinforcing effect on each other.
Sorry, quick clarification. It's your formula for Christians only.
It's the formula that everybody should have.
Okay, so imagine two people who were not Christians, who, funny enough, found themselves in this type of
situation.
Yes.
Is it found or are planning to make a decision?
No. So no. Let me say that. Two people who are not necessarily Christians, who found themselves following this formula you gave, like they had love, faith, hope, right? They might not have called it that. They had all of that, and then down the line, one of them becomes a Christian, and they are not yet married.
If it was love, faith, and hope that they have, they won't have a problem.
No, you think what I'm saying? Both of them are not Christians.
Okay.
One of them became a Christian down the line.
Yeah, so you know that speaks to the initial. But I want to go theological now.
They are not married, though. They are not married.
That speaks to the thing I said about their material circumstances for purpose now being different. That is the same. It falls in the same category, right? Where they now begin to have fundamental differences in terms of I want to go and live abroad, I want to live here, or I become a Christian, and you are still a Muslim, and how we're going to raise our children. That's what I meant by that. That's why I gave only that exception. That's the exception. Things that like that are the exception I was talking about. Where there's a real material difference to their destiny. But guess what?
What?
This is the funny thing, is that faith, hope, and love actually can cover them.
Explain, please.
The only problem is that one person has to have weak convictions concerning their religion.
Because faith, hope, and love can cover, provided one
of them has weak convictions concerning their beliefs.
Okay.
Then about changing, yes.
Yeah,
so changing. About changing, right? It's strictly speaking, it is possible that people change their values from love, theoretically, but highly unlikely. And in such cases, if someone actually truly changes in their values of love, faith, and hope, there's nothing else that you can have really done. So the only thing you can do is you are watching them change, and then you are working to make sure it doesn't happen, right? But barring that, right, barring being present-minded to ensure that system, because relationship does not end after the commitment. You guys keep working together.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you see the person is in danger of changing those core things that make them a good partner, right? you can, work with them to make sure that they don't lose it and everything. But if they do lose it, there's literally nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Literally, there's.
So which brings me to the next question. Are you ever afraid? Like, because Samuel of today, at least I've been with you for 11 years. Samuel of today and 5 years ago. Yeah, still similar. But Samuel of today and 10 years ago, nah, you're not the same person. So are you ever afraid, like in light of our relationship, that 10 years from now, after I've been watching the way me I've been going this past few years, and let's say I'm watching you, like, are you ever afraid
No.
that there'll ever come a point where, because one of us has changed, it affects our relationship?
I don't think so. Do you know what? I'm not even let you change. Me, I'm sure I can never change. Right?
You're
Because,
sure?
Yes, I'm very sure.
Unchangeable. Now, wow.
I know my soul, my
No,
entire
but
being.
let me ask, someone of today and someone of 10 years ago, is
The
it
only
different?
change is getting deeper in my love, faith, and hope. That's the only change. Getting actually deeper and deeper in that love, faith, and hope. That's the only change. There's any change you're talking about.
But you know, some of your
getting deeper.
value systems and approaches to some
That's
things
what I'm
have
saying.
changed.
Getting deeper. I'm not more
Okay.
shallow on some things. I always knew some things and all that, but getting deeper, getting more deeper convictions and all that and all that. So if there's any change that's going to happen, it's going to be I'll be digging deeper. But to now change course completely to a completely different view cannot happen. I'm pretty sure. And because I know the kind of wife I have, I'm not even going to let it happen to you. But for the
What
moment
will
that
you do?
happened, I'll start shouting and lamenting, and I know where to report you, where they will catch you. I will never let, or won't even let you. See, we are eternally secure. See, perseverance of the saints. One sin forever sin. This marriage like that.
But I want to say some words that will trigger you when it comes to changing. How I wanna fly away.
Fly off. Tie your leg to the place. Die, fly. Yeah, your fantasy about flying.
Right,
Flying anywhere.
but let me, like I said, I don't have the spirit of bondage again to fear, but I know myself. Sometimes I can have that propensity of being anxious and thinking. This is big grammar for saying worry, and it's not a good thing. But anyways, I found myself thinking of situations like there are some insanely intense external circumstances, and this is how Ijoma's mind goes sometimes, that happen to people. Imagine if there's some kind of war, change of context, forced to separate, or things like that. I don't know. So far that we are like how we've been together and how all of that, I'm good. Like I don't see, just like you said, I just see us getting better, just see us getting more convinced. But are there other circumstances, situation, like except the external pressure? Because I've seen situations where intense external pressure can make you buckle internally, right?
Like what?
Oh,
Like war?
war, yes.
Okay, like maybe like
Financial strain, like consistent, prolonged financial strain. If there's anything that brings out the worst in marriages, is, do you understand?
But you know,
And let me give you an example. Let me give you another example. Things that can affect sexual health, physical health, things that can affect physical health as well.
like serious sickness.
So money, sex,
Like real intense problems like that.
yes. So
Oh, you
pressure.
bring
So let me give you an example. There's also the pressure that comes with success. Because you have gone to start church, pastor. After, and mind you, someone told me, no, tell the world what you said that night when I asked you if you are going to be a pastor.
I told you I'm not be a pastor because I did not know. I did not lie to you because I honestly did not know.
No, but I know you. And you know I know you. And I know the way you said it then was like, I'm sure you must have said something like, I can never be a pastor.
You know
I don't
what
want to be a
happened now?
pastor.
That was just the year when they pushed me from being a pastor to going back to Bible study secretary.
So you are changed.
I actually
You have changed.
believed that I was never going to be a pastor.
And you said it with conviction.
Number one, I was sure that I was never going to, found a church or anything, right? I was sure of that. And at that point, I did not even see myself in any trajectory where I could be someone's associate pastor. So it was pretty sure to me that I will never be a pastor.
So this is also a very good example of how things can change.
Now,
sometimes they are changing.
The reason why my formula works.
Wait now,
because that's core. But even if external manifest things change, that core will still hold you guys together. You find yourself growing together and those things. You see, it actually works.
I did not leave you. Just like I can't leave you.
Yeah, exactly. That brings me to the answer to the things we were talking about severe strain from us.
No, but there was one other example I was going to give, and the reason why I started talking, it reminded me of pastor is an example I've also seen with pastors and someone beloved to you, for example, that stuff like that happened to. I'm talking of Dr. Ravi, right? There's this train that comes with success. I know that what God has shown us for this Excellence Church and how we believe God is leading us to doing that particular work. We're not necessarily thinking of having mega church or anything. But let's even say it doesn't come from this Excellent Church. I know how I want my career trajectory to work. I know how you want your career trajectory. There is also that strain that might come with success. So, for example, imagine me being Google global CEO, right?
Something.
Do you understand? And I know knowing you is something that you will never tell me that man, no, don't do it. You don't want to live baby boy life. So right, things like that. And things like that, they aside the external, it's easy for you to say no to the external examples of war or something like that, because those are heavy. I might even make you get closer. But one of these slow fades.
Catch you with it.
I know. One of the slow fade.
Okay, so this is what
and the reason why I'm asking again, I'm going down this line, because I think it's possible. And I think there is now another layer that you will now probably put to the formula to help mitigate chances like that, because there's this slow fade, there's the 1 minute past 12
of situations where you are changing, you are diverging,
and
you're growing apart very slowly.
Before you know it, how many years down the line?
So I'm going to do what Paul says, right? Paul says that we should not be confident and we should constantly check ourselves so that we can be sure that we're still living and we're not falling. So let's apply that to the marriage. I'm not going to just be arrogant, because arrogance itself is a trap that can make you fall. So I won't be arrogant and say it's I'm good, like it can never happen to me and all that, so that I can actually be self-aware enough to see there's going to be a problem, right? So I will acknowledge that slow fade is a legitimate danger that can happen to any family, and things like career, external things coming into the relationship to make you grow apart. First of all, things like you not spending enough time to each other, then you're having individual life experiences in your career. Yeah, that you're not carrying each other along with you. So your experiences are beginning to diverge, your thoughts are beginning to diverge, and then one day just wake up and you're looking
and in enters a Jezebel, and you now begin to have similar experiences with that person.
Those are legitimate situations, but knowing myself and knowing how much and how important the marriage is to me, I will not let it get that far. I will not let it get that far.
Yeah.
And I know you also. So because if you get to that point where you are seeing me unhappy, it will affect you with your tendency for this thing. That unhappiness will make you self-sabotage in the office. You won't do well in the office.
Yeah.
See, if you get to that point where you are genuinely more busy and everything, I will just become your PA. I will just be following you around the world.
I will quickly give you office besides my.
We'll be having those experiences together.
Actually.
We will not allow you to grow apart. With those experiences, we'll be having it.
You don't want to crawl under your skin. We'll follow each other.
We'll be having those experiences together.
But now let's think of it in the context of what we're saying. Are there things that people can do generally? Now we've entered marriage, and not as if we are marriage counselors or anything, but I'm just thinking, are there things that people like that can do? Although I think you've given the example, the solution with what you said when you quoted Paul. Are there things, so are there extra layers you add to your formula to now help?
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is one extra layer I'll add: communication. Do you know that it's scientifically proven that a couple that argues more than 3 times a week is likely to have problems? And a couple that does not talk quality talk of like 30 minutes, of each episode being 30 minutes, less than 7 a week, will have problems.
You don't mean it.
I'm telling you. So
you don't mean it. Wait. You know where I'm going now. Maybe you will drop phone and be facing me now.
Relax.
30 minutes.
Relax.
Honorable, sir. Honorable. I have a question.
Relax.
I have a question. That 30 minutes, here as a stretch.
No. You have to have like, I think
So 5 minutes, 6
no,
times.
like 12, 30 minutes,
At a
several
stretch.
times, several times at a stretch.
Watching
In a
movie
week.
together doesn't count.
Why doesn't
It doesn't count.
Why doesn't
You
count?
have to sit
No,
down
it
and
means-
look at each
it
other
means
eye to
bonding
eye.
activity. Oh God. Let me just
Is
say
it that brought this
Let me
example?
just say my own what I want to
Oh,
say.
yeah, finish.
What I want to say is, you guys have to keep talking.
Yeah.
You have to just keep being friends. You have to talk, share your experiences, pour out your soul to each other. Keep talking. Anything that will make you guys become silent and not communicate is a trap.
Like
That's the
Twitter.
one way to make sure that you don't.
And like pressing phone.
Oh God. Should be when I'm even pressing the Twitter, you will know. And we'll be using it to talk, and we'll use it to fight. Those are the things that are making us communicate.
Oh. Nice one.
Yes, thank you very much. So, you have to just keep talking. That's what I will say. You have to keep talking. Like, you have to keep talking. Keep doing things together. You know those things that we always do?
Yeah.
All these guys be looking at us like, what's wrong with this couple? That will just quickly say, we leave, abandon each other in that, and quickly go and watch a movie.
Yeah.
And come back, or just go and take a stroll together and everything. Those things are actually very important.
And
You have
it's
to
the
keep
consistency
talking.
of it.
And it's not
It's not that you do it
it's
once
not
at
one
the beginning
stretch
of
for
the
a
year.
month, no. It's
Yeah.
every single day, every week.
And you know the
Keep
funny
talking,
thing
keep
is that
talking.
even if for any reason you find yourself in any type of context, right? If it's communication, the quality of the communication might reduce, right? But it will never be the opportunity to do it will never, unless maybe you are in prison. Do you understand? But the opportunity to do it will always be there.
Yeah,
If you are in different physical locations, you FaceTime now.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Even if it is, I don't know, you can't even FaceTime, there's no internet. You send love letter or something, unless you're in prison. But yes, I get what you mean. The opportunity is always going to be there, irrespective of your context. To keep.
No, we'll start hinting at the next episode. We'll talk about dealing with change. Maybe people are changing with pattern.
We've not already talked about.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. So we're done with episode 3.
Yeah, so that's episode.
All right.
Okay. So on to